Hello again, everybody, and thank you for joining me for another great classic wrestling match. This time, a tag team match from Central States territory back in the mid '80s. So we're going to see Abdullah the Butcher and Hustler Rip Rogers against Mike George and Bob Geigel, who had been a professional wrestler at one time, and this point was primarily a promoter. And I'm not sure the background on this match, but he obviously came out of retirement for this tag team match. This is in the Central States, Kansas City territory, which was struggling pretty mightily in the '80s. It was known as kind of the bottom of the barrel of the territories as far as pay went, as far as crowd interest went. Um, that's where you win when you had nowhere else to go, for the most part. Of course, you got Abdullah here being brought in, who's a big star all over the world. Um, so this will be a very interesting tag team match of Abdullah Butcher and Rip Rogers and Bob Geigel and Mike George. As always, like, subscribe. Please comment below your thoughts and any insights you have into this match or the wrestlers uh, in this match. So let's go ahead and hit start. See, Bob Geigel, definitely not a young man. There's Rip Rogers, the hustler Rip Rogers, long-time professional wrestler. It's like it's going to be a street fight or a bunkhouse match. Rogers is there with his valet, and who's his wife. There we see Abdullah the Butcher outside the ring. Wild man from the Sudan, of course, was a vicious wrestler. Like to use a fork, bloody up his opponents. You can see Mike George in the ring there. So it's come as you are. It's like a bunkhouse, hardcore street fight match. Which, for Bob Geigel in this stage of his life and career, would probably be the best type of match for him to be participating in. And there, Abdullah, I believe, is already starting with a fork on the head of Mike George. They're brawling on the floor. So George is already going to be busted up, for sure. Abdullah going to town on George. Rams him into the railing. And we see Geigel in the ring with Rip Rogers. Rogers, of course, go on to become a pretty good trainer. I see Rip Rogers wrestle on a couple occasions. Here's, oh man, really going to town there on George. We see Brenda Britton, the valet Rip Rogers. She pushed out of the ring, and looks like Geigel's getting whipped with the belt. There's George back in the ring. He's going to choke out Abdullah the Butcher with his shirt. As mentioned, I did see Rip Rogers wrestle a couple of times on some shows. Saw him at the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Show, Bluegrass Brawl '93 in Bible, Kentucky. He lost to Robbie Eagle in the opening match. Robbie Eagle go on to be Gorgeous George III and Maestro in WCW. I also saw Rip Rogers on a WCW card in '91. Also in Pikeville, Kentucky. Lost to local wrestler and policeman Rick Newsom. Did some jobs on WCW TV back in the late '80s and early '90s. He was from Pikeville, of course, he went over Rick Rogers in that opening match. Geigel using a chair on Rogers. There's down. He's choking him out with the chair. George is using his belt buckle on Abdullah. Abdullah's not been in the best of health as of late. I know he's been in the hospital. Not heard anything recent last couple of weeks about his condition. Hopefully he's on the mend. This is just a Beer 6 brawl here. Abdullah for years ran a barbecue restaurant in Georgia. Big rib restaurant. Geigel chasing after Rip Rogers with the chair. Mike George and Abdullah continue to brawl there on the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to stay with this as long as possible.
This has been nothing but a brawl. There's another chair shot to the head of Rogers. Not the hardest chair shot, thankfully.
My commentary may be interrupted from time to time.
Mike George was a journeyman. Spent a lot of time in Central States. Wrestled Mid-Atlantic some. Had some appearances in AWA. He's been especially in its dying days in the late 80s.
Abdullah the Butcher and Mike George toe-to-toe.
Geigel pounding away at Rip Rogers. Doing with chair George.
Geigel and Rogers continue. Abdullah the Butcher and Mike George battle on the floor.
To the eyes.
We've got two
Bob Geigel.
in the ring now.
Here comes Rip Rogers' valet back
Mike
in.
George has got the steel thing.
There, George is using a foreign object on Abdullah. Abdullah's bleeding now as well.
Abdullah the Butcher trying to attack one of the cameramen.
George whipping Rip Rogers.
This is beyond
Bell.
expression. This is
Abdullah. Oh man, they're using some sharp instrument there. Abdullah wrestled all over the world. Big star in Japan, Puerto Rico. Nice big. Well, the ladies are involved. I'm not sure who the other lady is to counteract Rip Rogers' valet, but she gets her out of the ring once again. Abdullah's last big run here in the U.S. was with WCW back in the early 90s. Wrestled world class a bit back in the 80s.
Geigel and Rip Rogers continue to battle inside of the squared circle.
Bob Geigel may have some brass knucks.
Rip Rogers, his head opened up by that steel chair.
The brawl just continues.
Abdullah and Mike George continue to battle on the floor. Sonny
And
Myers just cut a
Bob
boot
Geigel
to
keeps
the
whipping
midsection.
Rip Rogers with his belt.
Penny Mitchell just took out after Brenda Britton.
And the ladies are fighting out into the crowd.
Oh, that judo chop.
Oh, the ref goes down. Bob Geigel gets his own referees. I guess he'll have to find himself. So much time is left on this. There's still about a minute, 20 seconds. Attack a van, or was that security, or I'm not sure. Maybe that was the second referee.
I'm not even sure I can continue on with this.
And there goes Rip Rogers over the top rope.
We've got complete pandemonium here at ringside.
Reaching something about George and help George fight off Abdullah.
The Butcher's gone berserk. Geigel and Rogers continue to
Rogers and I think the referee just waved his hand. To heck with this. Throw the match out. It's done. No control over this. And there they are fighting out into the crowd. Throwing chairs.
Let's stay with us as long as we can.
Assuming this is Kansas City. Big town in the territory now. Continue to brawl there toward the back. Geigel and George chasing after Abdullah. And we go to a replay of some of the earlier action. Well, folks, that was definitely a wild brawl, bloody brawl from latter-day Central State. Interesting match to see. Abdullah, Rogers, Mike George, Bob Geigel. So that was an interesting match. No winner doesn't appear. It looks like it was thrown out. Well, thank you folks for watching once again. I'll be back soon with some more wrestling video. Like I said, I'm going to try to upload a video every day. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you again soon.